Welcome to Beat Diabetes. On today's program, we'll hear a couple of amazing testimonies from individuals who are seeing wonderful victory in their lives. One diabetic shares how he had to go to the hospital and have his lower leg amputated due to diabetes. But he came out of the hospital determined to defeat this monster, and he learned to do it. And he'll share the 5 factors he believes were an important part of bringing his A1c down from sky-high levels into the 5s in an amazingly short time. This comment is hot off the press. I just saw this. It had been posted about an hour before I came to do this video, so this is very, very recent. He says, just recently I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was scared and depressed for about a week, and then I went to work. Well, being depressed for about a week and then going to work, both of those are human. Being depressed, being discouraged, well, of course, who wouldn't be? But you can't stay in that place. If you have to visit that place of depression and despondency for a week, that's all right, I guess. But at some point, you got to shake yourself off and just say, all right, what can I do? And that's what he did. He says, luckily, I was familiar with keto and intermittent fasting. Well, that was to his advantage. My doctor put me on metformin. I put myself on 0 carbs. Okay. He says, no sugar, no bread, no potatoes, no sodas, no fast food restaurants. I'm eating bacon, eggs, avocados, cheese, and kale salads with broccoli, green peppers, pepperoni, bacon, onions, tomato, egg slices, etc. So eating some good stuff and avoiding all sources of major carbs. Now, when he says I put on 0 carbs, that's not quite accurate. If you're eating onions, you're getting a few carbs. Eating tomatoes, you're getting a few carbs. But most of us can live with that, and that's not a problem for most of us. He says, I bought a soda stream so that I could make sparkling water to replace the soda. It tastes great with the ACV, lemon juice, and stevia. Okay, so he's saying, I was so used to soda, I had to find a replacement. Well, I never was that excited about soda that I had to find a replacement, although I will admit, gasp, that once in a while I'll drink a diet soda, but not regularly. Anyway, he found what works for him using a soda stream, which is a kind of a soda maker. I've never had one. I think I bought one for one of my sons as a birthday present. He asked for one. And he says, it's about 2 weeks into my new diet. I've already started to feel better. I'm hopeful my blood sugar will fall back into the normal range so I can get off metformin. Your advice and encouragement is wonderful. You gave me hope to fight and win. Thank you. Well, that's just wonderful. Can I be honest? I cannot imagine this man. I assume it's a man, not sure. But whoever it is, man or woman, I cannot imagine this person not winning. I cannot imagine this person eating like this and with this kind of a positive attitude and staying at a high level of diabetes. I can't imagine him still needing metformin. Now, if he is a type 1 or he's a LATA, then of course he's probably going to, well, with type 1, he'll definitely need insulin. If he's a LATA and he's in that sliding scale, sooner or later he probably will. But you can still win. You just take your insulin and eat low carb and so forth. But the attitude is great. The foods he's choosing, by my estimation, are great foods. And he's put himself in a position where if he does not get better blood sugar, it would be a shock to me and really to anybody that knows much about how this works. In other words, he's like about 90-some% for sure he's going to do a whole lot better with his blood glucose. So very cool. Keep at it, my friend. And I think you're going to be wonderfully, well, I won't say surprised because I think you're going to be expecting to do better, but I think you're going to be very happy with your next A1c if you wait about 3 months. Okay, now this one is an older comment. The first one was a very recent comment, about a 1-hour-old comment. This one I've had on my computer for some time. He says, I want to share my story. With an A1c of 11.9, very, very high, I was rushed to the hospital in December, and I had my leg below the knee amputated due to diabetes. Not a very happy start to his comment. So he's had an amputation. At least it was below the leg, or below the knee, rather, which is better than above the knee. He says, I spent 2 weeks in the hospital. I came out determined to defeat diabetes. I love that. I love to see determination. He says, I stopped the meds on the 10th of February. It's been 8 weeks, and I was at a podiatrist appointment where there was a diabetic nurse who reviewed my blood sugar results. She couldn't believe the numbers and ordered me to do an A1c blood test that day. So I did the test yesterday, and he already has his result at the time of this comment. The result was 5.7. Wow, from almost 12 to 5.7. Now, if you don't know anything about diabetes, if you don't know anything about A1Cs, that may not impress you, but anybody that knows it, you can't help but be impressed. He says, I was so happy. And then he starts listing the things that he feels helped him so much. He puts diet at the beginning, which I think rightfully so. He says, I was so happy. Diet, exercise, sleep, hydration, and low stress while dealing with losing my lower leg. Well, again, this man's attitude was so beautiful. And attitude is so important. He says, praise God. By the way, I'm on my 3rd session of prosthetic rehabilitation. I see nothing but a good future for this individual. With his attitude, with his change of diet, with his enthusiasm, with what he now knows he has to do, I cannot imagine anything but a bright future. He says that he's now on his 3rd session of being rehabilitated for his prosthetic. He's not moaning and groaning and saying, why me? He's just like, all right, let's learn how this works. Let's do this. He lost a leg or part of a leg, but he gained an understanding of how to beat diabetes. And he gained a new attitude of joy and victory. And your attitude is so important. But in order to have the right attitude, you have to have the right reason for that attitude. A lot of times when someone will have trouble, a friend will come along and say one of several different platitudes that we just like to say, trying to help people. Our intention, our motive is good, but sometimes there's nothing behind it. When we say things like, well, things are going to work out, they'll work out, they have a way of working out, well, they may not work out. Things are going to be okay, they may not be okay. Or don't worry, you're going to be just fine. How do you know that? Is there a plan? For someone who's in the middle of a trial or of a fight for their life, a fight for their health, they need more than a friend to come along, pat them on the back and say things are going to work out. They need a plan of attack. They need strategy. They need insight. They need optimism and a reason for optimism. Not just the things are going to work out kind of optimism, but okay, I know if I do A, B, C, and D, I have excellent chances of a good outcome. And you've got to have a reason to believe that. And that's one of the big reasons this channel exists, is to give you a plan of attack, to give you some strategy, and to give you hope that there are excellent chances of you winning and beating diabetes if you will attack diabetes in the proper way. You can't just sit around and spout platitudes. You got to have a reason to believe things will work out. And guess what? They do again and again and again. We see this. If you've recently been diagnosed with diabetes and you've just discovered this channel, let me recommend that you go to our Uploads page, which will give you access to every diabetic video we've posted since we began. As you work your way through all our videos, I believe you'll find the help you need. A link to our Uploads page is in the description.